Thank you. You may be seated. Your Excellency, at this hour, allow me to invite, with your permission, the Head of Public Service, Dr. Joseph Kinyua, to take over the program. Thank you.
Your Excellency, all protocols observed, good afternoon. We are gathered today to witness yet another unprecedented step in the journey of furthering the vision and objectives of devolution as outlined in our Constitution. Today, we witness the coming into effect of a transfer of functions between the Nairobi City County and national government. On the 25th of February, the national government and the Nairobi County government signed a deed of transfer of functions outlining the intention to transfer the following functions to the national government: county health services, county transport services, county planning and development services, county public works, utilities and auxiliary services. This deed of transfer was gazetted on the 25th of February 2020. Members of the public were then invited to give views on the intentions as outlined therein through a gazette notice of 26 February 2020. The County Assembly was notified as is required by the law and ratified the intentions outlined in the deed of transfer. Having met the constitutional and legal requirements of effecting a transfer of functions, today we witness the symbolic official handover of functions, the signing of an addendum to the deed of transfer arising from the public participation, and a service level agreement on the collection of revenue between the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Nairobi City County Government. With your permission, sir, let me now invite the parties participating in the signing ceremony. We will start with the governor of the City County of Nairobi, down there. Sorry, governor. And the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Devolution and Asal. That will do when the AG has. Governor and the Cabinet Secretary, you can step behind Kindogo, back to your seat. We now have the signing of the service level agreement between the Kenya Revenue Authority and Nairobi City County, Mr. James Boro and Alan Igambe. Can you please step at the front?
Thank you very much. We will now have the last one, the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Public Service Commission Chair and the Nairobi County Public Service Board Chair. If you can step at the front. Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next step, which is recital and citation and recital, which will be done by the Attorney General. If you can come over, please. And maybe before AG, I can have the Governor and CS Wamarwa go there, because after that recital, you exchange the documents.
May it please Your Excellency to permit me to read this citation made under the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya and the Intergovernmental Relations Act number 2 of 2012. Whereas the Constitution of Kenya 2010 established a devolved structure of governance with a service-centric approach in which the sovereign power of the people of Kenya is exercised at two levels, being the national level and the county level, collectively the government of the Republic of Kenya. And whereas with a view to enhance delivery of the public good, the Nairobi City Council government expressed its desire to transfer to the national government the functions set out in Article 3 of the Deed of Transfer of Functions. And whereas the national government accepted the transfer to the national government of the functions set out in Article 3 of the Deed of Transfer of Functions from the Nairobi City County Government, and it has a requisite capacity and competence to perform the transferred functions, and whereas the residents of the Nairobi City Council, County, and the general public were notified that the Nairobi City County Government and the national government executed a deed of transfer of functions to the national government dated the 25th of February 2020 in the Kenya Gazette, V-Day Gazette number 1609 of 2020, published in issue number volume 122, number 38. And whereas in fulfillment of the legal obligations set out in Article 10, Sub-Article 2, A, B, and C, and Article 74C of the Constitution of Kenya, the residents of the Nairobi City Council and all members of the public were invited to submit their views and comments on the deed of transfer and functions to the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Devolution and ASAL, or the County Secretary, Nairobi City Council, in the Gazette Notice, V-Day Gazette Notice number 1612 of issue number 122, number 39, and whereas in fulfillment of the legal obligations set out in Section 26, subsection 5 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act, number 2 of 2012, the Nairobi City County Assembly has been notified of the transfer of the specified functions as codified in the Deed of Transfer of Functions. And whereas the Deed of Transfer of the specified functions was designated to come into effect 21 days after the date of execution, now therefore, know ye, all men, by these presents, that pursuant to Article 187 of the Constitution, as read with Section 26 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012, the deed of transfer of functions signed on the 25th of February 2020 between the Nairobi City County Government and the national government, as read with the deed of transfer corrigenda arising from public participation, transferring certain functions to the national government, comes into effect today, that is, on this 18th day of March 2020. And this is witnessed by His Excellency Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Gideon Mbuvi Sonko, Governor, Nairobi City County Government, the Right Honorable Kenneth Lusaka, Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Johnson Sakaja, Senator, Nairobi City County, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Devolution and Assal, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, Speaker, Nairobi City County Assembly, Mr. Stephen Kirogo, Chairperson, Public Service Commission, and Mr. Abdi Hakim Kahinya, Chairman, Nairobi City Council Public Service Board. And this citation is dated today, the 18th of March 2020, under my hand.
Sorry. We can have the handover, please, Governor and Marwa. Proceed handing over to each other. Exchange, please. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Governor. And thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You can step. Thank you, Governor. We'll now have the Kenya Revenue Authority, Banaboro, and Ilan Igambe for the purpose of the other instruments of that revenue collection agreement that you have signed. It's just to exchange now because you have already signed. Why can't you be closer there? Yeah. No handshake. You bro each other. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Let me call now the Public Service Commission Chair and the Nairobi County Public Service Board Chair to do the same. You don't need to sit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we have finished that part of the ceremony. It is now my distinguished pleasure to invite you, Your Excellency, to speak to us.
Thank you, ladies. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. The Governor of Nairobi City County, Governor Mike Buvi Sonko, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we gather here today for what is indeed a very important event in the annals of our republic as a constitutional democracy founded on the principles of devolved governance. The essence of devolution, as established in the Constitution, is to ensure that the government serves the needs, interests of our people to the most localized levels. To optimize on service delivery, our Constitution envisages independence and cooperation between the two levels of government. This cooperation is indeed the essence of our devolution. We, as has been stated, are one government at different levels, working in concert to deliver to the people
what is essential for their livelihood and upkeep, be that security, water, sanitation, good health, roads, safe transport, education, and so on. The citizen cares not who is delivering the service. The citizen does not differentiate between the different levels of government. To him, government is one. Therefore, we must also act as one and not appropriate blame on one another, for this is not what Mwananchi expects of us. They want service delivery, not excuses. Ladies and gentlemen, Nairobi is not only the capital city, seat of government of Kenya, it is much more. Many regional and international organizations are based in Nairobi as a diplomatic hub for the region. Indeed, the only United Nations organization headquarters outside the Western Hemisphere is located here in Nairobi. Testament to the importance and preeminence of the city in the diplomatic arena. Nairobi is host to 2 airports, with bustling activities carrying international visitors in and out of Kenya to every part of the globe, as well as ferrying passengers to every part of our country. Nairobi is home to the industrial sector that churns out goods that are transported across the region. Nairobi is a living, breathing metropolis and home to over 4 million people of all walks of life, not only from every corner of Kenya, but from every corner of the globe. These Nairobians are extremely hardworking and industrious people, evidenced by the fact that 40% of our country's GDP is produced here in Nairobi. For Nairobi, therefore, to continue on this path is of paramount importance that its citizens are provided reliable, efficient, and timely services. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that there has been challenges to the delivery of these services. Part of these challenges have been as a result of internal constraints and capacity issues afflicting Nairobi County. Whatever the cause of these challenges, the unfortunate consequence has been that members of the public have often been deprived of essential and critical services. We have, as an example, seen uncollected garbage that is suffocating the city with the additional risk of disease and infection. We have water rationing in most parts of the city and perennial traffic congestion that is eating into the productivity of the residents of this city. However, as has been stated often, the biggest problem that the city faces is corruption and cartels that have a vice-like grip on City Hall. From the collection of garbage, to parking of vehicles, to water supply, to issuance of permits, be it for business or construction, the cartels and corrupt practices have made service delivery almost impossible. Together with Governor Sonko, we had recognized these problems, and it was for that reason that I initiated a partnership with the Nairobi County government under the leadership of Governor Sonko to develop the Regeneration of Nairobi program. This joint program was informed by the problems faced by the city, and it focused on a number of critical development sectors, including housing, urban renewal, roads and paving, infrastructure, street lighting, waste management and disposal, water and sewage infrastructure, as well as decongestion of Nairobi city, amongst others. The Regeneration of Nairobi program was overseen by a joint committee comprising of cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries from the national government, as well as county executive committee members and chief officers of the Nairobi County government from the relevant departments. For 2 years, the Nairobi Regeneration Committee grappled with the issues that were bedeviling Nairobi. Unfortunately, the creation of the Nairobi Regeneration Committee proved to be an inadequate measure, as it was incapable of effectively taking charge and directing the changes that needed to be implemented. It is that failure that led to further consultations, resulting in the transfer of functions that we are witnessing today. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, after today's signing ceremony, I have also today created the Office of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. This office will be headed by Major General Mohammed Abdallah Badi, who is here present, who will take over as the Director General of the Office of Nairobi Metropolitan Services. He will be deputized by Enosh Onyango Momanyi, here present, as the Deputy Director General of this office. Asante. These two gentlemen and other officers to be seconded by both the national government and the county government will assume control over the functions that have been transferred. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services, or as it shall be referred to, the NMS, will be in charge of the functions that are transferred to the national government on behalf of the national government. Their primary responsibility would be to ensure that they deliver the services to the citizens of Nairobi. As I commission the Nairobi Metropolitan Service here today, I will task them firstly to bring an end to the corruption and to dismantle the cartels that have hindered the development of this county. I know that this is a tall order, but to you who have been charged with this responsibility, I pledge that I will ensure that you are fully supported by government in all ways possible to ensure that you achieve this goal. I task the NMS to work, for example, on streamlining urban renewal projects such as Jivanji, Pangani and others, which have been previously awarded before 2018 and have continually been delayed. The NMS should review these projects and make determinations on how these projects can take off, realizing that the development of these projects are part of the recently concluded Eastlands Urban Renewal Master Plan. NMS should concentrate on the implementation of the Nairobi Railway City Master Plan, which seeks to create and redevelop about 425 acres of land around the Nairobi Railway Station, with the aim of creating a world-class, multi-model node within the Nairobi Central Business District. To this end, this area has already been gazetted as a special planning area to pave way for the preparatory, planning, and works for the implementation of the Nairobi Railway City plans. Over the next 100 days, the NMS team should work closely with relevant institutions to establish the Railway City Development Authority and identify the anchor projects and investors for this redevelopment project. The NMS team should also focus on streamlining development control and approvals for the county. The construction business relies heavily on approvals on various investments and the erosion of economic value owing to dysfunctional approval processes, and this is well documented. Complaints of corruption and having to pay out bribes to receive permits and approvals must and will be a thing of the past. Therefore, it is critical that we take practical steps to rid this section of corruption, ease the pressure on construction sector, and reduce the cost of doing business. The NMS will implement an urgent action plan to clear backlog for approvals, and they should also fully operationalize the e-construction and e-permit system, and in this way reduce the number of delays arising from investors from development control approvals. The NMS will work very closely with the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, NAMATA, to implement the Nairobi Urban Mobility Plan and effect the non-motorized transport goals that are set out within the plan, which will include providing paved walkways, street furniture, and improved conditions for pedestrians on foot and or cycling. NAMATA will be empowered to work closely with the NMS team as a demonstration of the synergies and acceleration that can be obtained when collaborative practices are adopted in government. NMS should also embark on 3 projects to enhance the Nairobi Metropolitan within the CBD by the construction